Shoshi has responded to my video, so I'm going to be responding to her today. I did start watching it, and then I figured it would be good content to record my reaction and talk about everything that she talks about point by point. I am not a reaction channel, but this whole thing has been a little bit interesting. There's a few things I need to address before we get into reacting to the video. I will put the timestamp on the screen for the people who are like, get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. Go watch the reaction if you don't want to hear anything else. So I first want to address a statement that I made in my initial video. I got quite a few comments that corrected me, gave me other information, let me know that I was wrong, and I appreciate that. I said that Shoshi was not controversial. Some people misunderstood me and said I was comparing her to amberlynn Reid, and I can see how you would take that from my statement. And because I said that Shoshi was not controversial, they also correlated that with amberlynn Reid, and like everything got a little bit jumbled. When I said that Shoshi wasn't controversial, I was like not aware of the Charlie Kirk stuff. I was not aware of the pro-life stuff, the Zionist stuff, any of that. I don't know how true any of it is, but I was getting enough comments to feel like it was pretty accurate. So I just really quickly wanted to say that my intention in that statement was not to spread misinformation. That statement was coming from a genuine place of ignorance and not knowing. I haven't been following Shoshi that long. I've really only been following her maybe from like the end of December, and I haven't been following her very closely. I don't watch all of her videos. I'm not like deeply invested in her content. I just think it's interesting in the same way that I think amberlynn Reid is interesting. I also got some comments because I called her a character. It's my belief that we're all characters online. You don't know who I am at all. I get on the internet and I shave my head because I would have been doing that anyways, and then I talk about these dates that I go on. Do I actually go on these dates? No, I'm not going on dates. I am actually super committed to being celibate and being single. But the character that I'm portraying to you is that I'm going on these dates. Why am I doing that? Because it's good for engagement, because it's my job. I've been trying to make social media my job for a long time. I'm 27 now and I started when I was 12. 15 years I've been doing social media and like posting and failing a lot, but I'm just now finding success. And my niche is weird looking bald girl who goes on dates. That's my niche. And that's it. I tried other things before I landed on the get ready with me for dates ASMR thing. That didn't work. This works for me right now, so this is what I'm doing. That is my character. I believe that everyone who's on the internet publicly putting themselves out there is portraying a certain character of themselves. I'm not saying she's not being herself. And what I said at the end of my last video was I hope that she continues to be herself. I do believe that she's being herself, but also it is a character. It is the person that you are putting online. If I were to ever film in front of somebody, I would tell them, hey, I'm about to be putting on a persona for the camera because I am not typically the way that I am right now because I'm talking to a camera and I'm not talking to a human being, and like there's different dynamics there, right? Okay. One, Shoshi is controversial because she's a human being and because she has some opinions that are not good. I'm also controversial because I probably have opinions that you wouldn't agree with. I am a human being. I am not perfect. I don't think the Shoshi's perfect. I just had no idea about a lot of the things, okay? amberlynn Reid, also controversial. I have a parasocial relationship to amberlynn Reid. I've been following her for like 3 years off and on, and her life is an interesting case study. But what she puts on the internet is a character. Let's not get that confused. Like that's her, but it ain't really her. The character that you're seeing here in this long form content versus the character that I put on for my other long form content, aka my vlogs, those are two different people, right? Because it's two different contexts. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Next, let's get into my intentions. Shoshi did post something on her story that I saw before she blocked me, and I'll throw it up on the screen right here. I've just seen the video on this platform by the only person so far who had signed up for my membership. It's 3:16 a.m. I'm exhausted. I was somewhat devastated. I tend to be quite naive, although that's changed a lot since social media. With her initial polite words in the first video, I thought there was a chance that she had, for whatever reason, decided to post this publicly without negative intention. But I've seen the second video where she made it explicitly clear she had been documenting her experience from the beginning, which tells me she always had the intention of doing this. I don't want an internet drama, honestly, or a back and forth, but I will post the message I sent to her, which will give you some of the specifics because she barely got involved. I assume she was just really busy and struggling with motivation, but clearly she was spending so much time trying to rip apart what I was doing in the YouTube video she said she made that she had no time left to actually put any effort into it. Laughing face emoji. Devastated, period. My biggest fear in creating anything was always that it could be used like this by someone who would join with the intention of ripping it apart on social. Couple of things. I'll tell you you very explicitly my intention right now, because evidently I was not explicit enough in my previous video. I did not sign up to this course thinking that my life would be changed. And that's evident in the clip from day one where I said, I don't take advice from people that I don't want to live like. And Shoshi lives with her mom. She's in her 30s. She hasn't been able to afford anything over this last year. I didn't join this thinking that Shoshi was going to give me something so incredibly revolutionary that it was going to totally change everything about my life. I also think that there are learning opportunities all around us all the time from all kinds of different people. What I've learned from Shoshi is consistency works. That is something that I could take from her. She is extremely consistent on TikTok. She is going to post every day regardless of what's going on, and I admire that about her. That's genuine. If I was that consistent with my content, I would probably double, if not triple, my income. And that's just the truth. I mean, I admire that. Did I think that she was going to give me information that was going to completely change my wardrobe, which in turn would change my life? No. However, I did sign up for this course or program to see what the course was about and review it. Here is the full, honest truth. I was watching her videos. I saw that she talked a lot about that she had 100 plus videos in her other course called Elevated. And I saw a lot of comments that said, what even are you selling, girl? We don't get it. You're trying to push this course, trying to get us to pay you 97 euro, but we don't know what you're selling. What are you selling? My interest was piqued. I also wanted to know what she was selling. When I say that she obviously had to have been providing value, it's because she said she had 100 plus videos for her other course. I assumed that coming into this, it would be the same level of preparedness. That was my assumption, and I was mistaken. Do I think that because I had the intention to review the course from the get-go, that makes my intent malicious? No, my intent was not malicious. Was I a little bit brutal at some points in my video reviewing the product? Yeah. I'm also going to tell you guys what was going on in my life at the time. I talked about it briefly in the video. There was a lot going on. My mother and my father had just moved here. Their home, which is over an hour away from me, had no air conditioning. So they were staying in my apartment. I did not make any content in that time, and I did not have any alone time in that time. My son was spending time with my parents, so he wasn't at daycare, which he normally is. If he was at daycare and they were not here, I would have been making content. I would have been interacting. However, I didn't have time because I was with my family. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to just dedicate every single day to checking in on the Voxer and every single day to checking in. Here's the thing. It was supposed to be a course. I need to rewind a little bit because I'm getting a little bit frustrated. Something that a lot of people are misunderstanding about my video also, they're relating hiring a personal trainer, not showing up to the personal training sessions, and complaining that I didn't lose weight. And I've addressed this on TikTok already, but I'll say it again. I did not hire a personal trainer. I signed up for her online program. For the 97 euro a month, I was not supposed to have any access to Shoshi, and here's the proof of that.
The 97 euros a month doesn't technically have access to me, but I am in there, active in this community, and I want to hear from you. And especially right now at the beginning, when there aren't a lot of people in there, there is so much more personal help that I can give you as well. But I also feel that as the community grows, it's just going to get so much more exciting.
Here we are, hearing it directly from the horse's mouth. I was not supposed to have any access to her. 97 euro a month was supposed to afford me access to the course or the program, and I'm sure that we'll get into semantics here in a second, and a community. But there was no community. It was just me. Before I go any further, I would like to read you two definitions. First, the definition for course, which is what I thought this was. And second, for the definition of program, because my guess is, in this video, she's going to get into the semantics of it all. So there are three definitions. One definition is in relation to education, and it is as follows. A planned sequence of instruction in a particular subject. In high school or universities, it is a single subject component that often yields academic credit. The second definition of course in relation to a path or route, a specific direction or track along which a vehicle, a runner, or natural feature moves. Number three, definition of course in relation to progression, the continuous passage of time or natural uninterrupted succession of events or stages. I want to hone in on a couple of words within those three definitions. First, with education, a planned sequence of instruction. Planned sequence, instruction. Two, path or route, the specific direction. Three, with progression, continuous passage of time, uninterrupted succession of events or stages. Continuous uninterrupted. Are we seeing what I'm getting at? Now I will tell you the definition of program, since I literally paid for the online program for €97 a month. Now, I did not see that it said €97/month. All I saw was €97. So that's my bad for being uninformed. For €97 a month to get as much content as I received is ridiculous. But we will go back to defining the word program. A program is a planned sequence of events, a set of instructions for a computer, or a coordinated system of procedures aimed at achieving a specific goal. Couple of words we're going to focus in on real quick, since everyone is illiterate and nobody actually is understanding what we're talking about here. Planned sequence of events. If you're paying for a program, you're paying for a planned sequence of events. Planned events. Sequence. Probably supposed to be continuous. There was absolutely zero plan, in my opinion, and it wasn't a continuous sequence. So, next is a coordinated system of procedures aimed at achieving a specific goal. Coordinated system. Specific goal. What was the goal, Shoshi? I don't get it. And I'm asking all of you who keep telling me that I didn't try hard enough. What was the goal? What was the plan? What was the program? I should not have to engage in the program for the program to continue to exist. Before we get into the video and I react, I want to do one last thing, which is read the what's included section under her website. I do encourage you to also go read the whole thing. I'm not going to do that. It's a lot of words. I probably am missing something, but it is what it is. I'm going to read the what's included. First, voice notes throughout the week, shared in real time as I move through life, business, decisions, standards, and personal expansion. 2, weekly focus, 1 core shift delivered each week. 3, the getting dressed space. Daily embodiment through how you show up. 4, daily discussions where you share your thoughts, feelings, and experiences so I can deepen and tailor what we do every day. 5, private community, a room of women committed to becoming more together. Everything is housed inside Podia with daily touch points and voice notes delivered through the Her Standard Voxer channel. 6, her new standard, for women who refuse average lives. This is where we start moving differently. This is actually the last thing I'm going to say because I'm trying to get to this reaction as quickly as possible. I've been talking for half an hour. With the daily discussion, there was a lot of pressure on me to give her the feedback so that she could create the content. I just want to say this would have been much better with a community. I would have enjoyed this a lot more, and I probably would have been more encouraged to participate had there been an actual community. There wasn't a community, it was just me and Shoshi. So no, I didn't want to do the daily discussions. That's been just this big thing. Oh, Morgan didn't participate. Fine, I didn't participate so that she could tailor it to me. My question is, how would you tailor it to 100 different women who are going through 100 different things? At the end of the day, there has to be something set in place, some kind of structure where each week we're hitting a specific target, and on top of the specific target of the weekly challenges, voice notes, shifts, or whatever you want to call it, there could be that tailoring. But you can't just tailor everything, right? If there's no foundation, how can you tailor it? Does that make sense? I don't know exactly how to express what I'm trying to express, but I really hope it makes sense. There was nothing for me to come from, right? So I am telling you what I don't know. If I walked into a class and my instructor was like, well, what do you want to learn? Girl, I paid for the class. Tell me what you're teaching me. I'll tell you what I don't understand. I'll tell you what I need help with from what you're teaching me, and then you can tailor it, right? But you can't just say, what do you want? And then tailor it from there. That just doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna actually get into the reaction now because I've been talking for 100 years. Okay, red lip, you looking very good, Miss Shoshi girl. The video is 9 minutes and 25 seconds, so buckle up, kids.
I only found out last night that the one person who was in her new standard had gone off and posted public content about it. She says that I had said that there were hundreds, I think I said over 100, posts in my previous course, which was Elevated, and that she now kind of doubts the authenticity as to whether or not that was true. The wonderful thing here is that I actually have proof. So all of the, I deleted everything. A lot of that was also like written posts and the
You have proof, but you deleted everything? Okay.
challenges. But I can prove that there was a lot of content in there because the videos I actually linked on YouTube. With just the videos, I believe I counted 68.
Okay, so there's 68 videos, not over 100. Was there over 100 posts? Is that what she's trying to say? That's fine. Why did you delete everything? You could have reused that content, but instead you served me nothing. Okay, period.
In Elevated, I also only ever had one member. And I think she watched one video and then she actually told me afterwards that she hadn't had the time to do it. With her new standard, I had tried to learn from that. Yes.
Wait a second. So somebody did sign up for Elevated and they had the exact same experience as me? Is that what I'm understanding? Is that what I'm getting from this? That you've only ever had 2 members and both members didn't have a good time with this? Is that what I'm understanding? I wonder why, Shoshi. Sorry for pausing. Let's go.
There was supposed to be daily voice notes. I recognise that perhaps this was a mistake, that I should have continued to do that anyway. The reason I didn't is because I was waiting for her to catch up. Voxer literally tells you whether something is either marked as delivered or played. So I knew whether she had actually listened to them, whether she had used them. The YouTube video, she says this didn't start out as a gotcha, but she was recording this process and documenting it, her word, all the way along.
Which doesn't make it a gotcha. It wouldn't have been a gotcha if the content had been good, if you had delivered on what you said you were going to deliver on. I also explicitly said in my second video that I had a conversation with my mom before the course even started, that signing up for the course was going to do one of 2 things. One, she was going to surprise me, make great content, and I was going to be able to promote her course and show people, hey, this is what she's offering. It's actually really valuable. Or 2, this was going to happen, right? Where she did not deliver, and I talked about that she didn't deliver. It's not a gotcha. Filming it for the purpose of a review does not make it a gotcha. It's only a gotcha because you didn't deliver on what you said you were going to deliver on. Anyways, my alarm just went off, so it stopped recording. We're going to rewind a little bit.
She said I wasn't prepared. I had written out, what I did was that every week I would basically write out like what the topic was going to be for the week, but also what we were going to focus on every day. But because this is a membership and not a course, I wanted to tailor it to the people who were inside.
It was a membership and not a course? Good information. Let me Google membership. Now we're changing the verbiage, Shoshi, because online it says program, not membership. A membership is a state of belonging to a group, organization, or society. It also refers to the status of being a member, the collective body of people who belong to an organization, or a subscription/agreement that grants specific privileges, rights, or services. Okay, I scrolled down a little bit. The third definition of membership in relation to business and monetization. A subscription model where users pay for a reoccurring fee in exchange for an ongoing value, exclusive benefits, content, or premium support. I'll just leave that with you guys and you can think whatever you want, because now we're changing the verbiage. We're only 1:38 and I've already paused 6 times.
I didn't want it to feel generic, and I felt that it would if I didn't know what was actually happening in the lives of the people who were in it. And I knew that that was what was going to make it deeper and more interesting and more detailed. The next part is interesting because she said I wasn't paying for her to coach me. I was paying for a course. So 2 things really strike me there. Firstly, I probably went wrong there because I think...
Okay, we're getting some accountability. I love it. I love it. Let's keep that going, Shoshi.
I was trying to coach her. Because it's a membership, it was meant to be interactive. So there was supposed to be an element of that. And because there was only me and her in there, I couldn't sort of take from the group and create something out of all of the feedback I'd received collectively.
Which is what I talked about before. There was a lot of pressure on just me to give her all this information about my life and my wardrobe or whatever so that she could create the content. If we had a community, maybe it could have been good because she could have gotten more information and created more out of that. But also, Shoshi girl, we're changing the definition. It's listed as a program on your website, but now you're saying it's a membership. The thing about membership also in my mind, right? If I have a Sam's Club membership, the items at Sam's Club will always be there for me to go get. Whether or not I show up to Sam's to go and get the items doesn't really matter and shouldn't matter to Sam's Club. And they're not going to stop selling the products just because I'm not showing up. See what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm an idiot. Let me know.
So it probably did end up more as a dynamic of one-to-one coaching. And I created that. That was my fault. I honestly thought that would be a benefit because...
Okay, she put text on the screen. The text on the screen says, it's only a benefit if you use the extra access to that person and that deeper opportunity for support, which she did not. We were doing so well with accountability, Shoshi. Despite unanswered messages and public comments, small challenges, and consistent encouragements to participate on my part. I thought we were going somewhere we're not. Okay.
The €97 a month is usually considered a low ticket offer. That generally you wouldn't get one-to-one for that price.
€97 a month? €97 a month is $112 US. $112. A Disney subscription is like $18 with no ads, and you get Hulu. That is even expensive for me, right? I'm not required to use my Disney subscription and go watch the movies. The movies will be there regardless of if I use it or not. €97 is a low ticket option. What are we talking about? Planet Fitness is like $21 a month to access all of their equipment. You don't think that people should receive your coaching for €97 a month? That's the low ticket option that does not afford access to you. Yeah, I got access to you because I was the only one. But if there had been 3 or 4 people, we would not have had access. Like, I'm just like confused. So we're paying €97 a month to essentially get into a community for you to give us things to do and to discuss amongst ourselves. I'm not understanding. I don't get it. That's your low ticket option. My low ticket option would be like fucking $7 a month, €6 a month for you. I think that's reasonable for the amount of content that I receive.
You certainly wouldn't get daily one-to-one, but I suppose I was still a bit insecure with it, and I was trying to give as much as I could. I was trying to get the feedback from that person directly, but the second part of it is interesting because she says that she wasn't paying for me to coach her, she was paying for a course, but it's not a course. She said that
it's a program. By definition, it would have a planned sequence of events, a set of instructions, or a coordinated system of procedures aimed at achieving a specific goal. But okay.
In order to have a course, you need to have course content. Now, this is quite funny to me because I feel like I've been sort of shouting and screaming from the rooftops that every time anyone messages me and they're like, oh, tell me about your course. I'm like, it's not a course. It's actually...
Right, okay. What she said there was interesting. Sorry for pausing it so much, but also you came here for reaction, girl. Get to the point, get to the point. This is the point. Everything that I'm saying, I believe, has value. She said she's been screaming it from the rooftops to everyone who messages her. This is an interesting thing that I've learned now, that she doesn't answer questions about her course or her non-course, her membership, publicly. She only does it via DMs, and I highly encourage anyone who has DM'd with Shoshi, share what she said, because the whole thing was there was so much mystery around this course. Nobody knew what the she was selling. So here I am, I'm showing you what she was selling. Shoshi apparently said that it's not a course. Where did you say that? If you're saying it in DMs, that's not helpful to the general public. Who wants to purchase something if you can only find out about it by messaging the person selling it? If I was someone who is desperate and really wanted the information and signed up, but then life happens and I couldn't get to the course, and then you just stopped giving me stuff for the non-course, whatever you want to call it, the program. Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? I'm just confused. Girl, you're confused? I'm fucking confused, bro.
A membership. A course is something where everything is like pre-done. You already have like videos or challenges, everything is already there. A membership actually does involve interaction. She said, there are people who do body language interpretation, which I used to be really into. I don't watch that shit anymore because I think it's a crock of shit. But something interesting she just did. A membership actually does involve interaction.
She said, a membership does involve interaction. A membership does involve interaction, while shaking her head. No. I don't know. Maybe subconsciously you know, Shoshi, that you're wrong. I paid you and you didn't deliver.
She said, if I have to pay again, I'm not doing it, which, fine. But she said this, I think, at the very beginning. So that sort of suggests the attitude that she went into it. She said that she was getting nothing, but then she also speaks about how I was blowing up her phone, her notifications with Voxer.
Yeah, I didn't believe that I was getting anything valuable out of the Voxer because you were just rambling on and not even coherently speaking. Go watch the video, guys. Like, actually, go just hit the fucking timestamps and go listen to the voice notes that she was sending me back to back to back to back to back. Yeah, you were blowing up my phone. If I had a regular job and I was at my job and my phone was Shoshi is speaking, Shoshi is speaking, Shoshi is speaking, that would get irritating. You couldn't just, girl, this could have been an email. You couldn't just send a singular or one or two voice notes. It had to be 20 voice notes in a row.
Specifically says about that first video, and I quote, "I haven't watched it yet. Maybe we can watch it together." So she's saying that she's not getting anything, but she's actually not even watched the first video yet. All of this and the fact that she's documenting it very much seems to speak to what the intention was, or at least what the intention wasn't when she first joined. This clearly isn't someone who did it because she thought it was going to be really valuable for her. This was someone who did this for content.
My job is creating content first, just like you. Second, I said that in my video. Shoshi must have something valuable for me because she's claiming that she does. My intention was to create a video to show the value. I couldn't show the value because there was none.
She talks about how I'd spoken about not having money for heating and not having money for earphones. And she says that there was, what's the word she used? Basically that there was
She put text on the screen. This is revealing because she already knew that / would have had that opinion before joining. So why join? If you were genuinely looking for help / change, you would choose to pay someone else. I already explained this. I wasn't looking for you to change my life, Shoshi. I was looking to, make content to show people what you were providing.
A discrepancy between what I was offering versus what I was actually experiencing. I've spoken in multiple posts about how this year, 2026, is when things really turned around for me. And it's also when the money actually started flowing in. I spoke about how when I was on the plane, I was comparing the massive difference between what my life had been like before and what it was like now. Being able to go on a trip without having to worry about money, without having to worry whether I would have enough.
It's June 5th today. We're 6 months into the year and you just started making money off of this. Why do you feel like you have enough authority to speak on this then? Life-changing stuff. If your life only changed 6 months ago. Here's the thing, Shoshi, maybe what you don't know about me. My life also changed 6 months ago, 7 months, I guess. My first paycheck that I ever received from social media was December 15th of 2025. But you don't see me out here trying to sell a course because there would be a discrepancy. Yeah, I do have a nice home. I don't live with my parent. I feel bad for saying that about you, but that is the truth. You're talking about financial freedom and manifesting and all these things, but it's all very new to you. You're not qualified to talk about this, just in the same way that I'm not. I'm not going to get on here and talk about how much money I made in May, which is the most money I've ever made in a single month ever in my entire life. I'm not going to get on here and talk about that with you guys because I don't know how to replicate that. And just because I've been making money on social media for 6 months doesn't mean that it won't stop next month. It's too new. It's too fresh. You don't have authority to speak on this, girl. Let me just hammer this home. I did this to review her course. Not because I thought she was going to change my life. I wanted to know what value she was offering, and I'm showing you guys that. Once again, for the 1,000th fucking time. I'm going to try and not say that because we still have 5 minutes left to go.
Bank account to cover it. She also mentioned me living with my mother.
She said, again, it's not like she found this out during the membership. She knew this already, so clearly she had these views before joining. Correct.
I have no reason to immediately change it. I don't feel the need to go out and rent somewhere on my own, pay astronomical rent, pay so much more in expenses monthly than what I'm paying now, and then have less company, not be able to...
Another text on the screen says, none of this, my life, money, living situation, has anything to do with my membership, but it probably added some color to her YouTube video, which, in her own words, she had been recording since day one. But it has everything to do with that, because you're looking to change other people's lives when you are not living a life that other people want to live. Why would I take your advice when you are not living a life that I would want to live? Objectively speaking, I possess more than Shoshi. That's an objective fact. You are asking me to pay you 112 USD a month to provide value to my life, where is this value coming from? What expertise do you have that you think that you could change my life? Also, if you don't have any reason to move out of your mom's house, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Not everyone can afford that. You're talking about financial freedom, but are you living that? I am paying an exorbitant amount of rent living in a 3-bedroom apartment. I can afford it. Could you afford it? Could you? Could you? Without these memberships, could you afford it? Do you actually have that financial freedom that you preach about so often? I'm just genuinely curious. Is that the life that you're living? If it's coming from a place of, well, I don't really need to do it right now, so why would I? Fine, stack your bread, queen. But you also have to understand that it does have everything to do with your membership, and people are considering that before joining. Maybe that's why they're not joining.
So much more in expenses monthly than what I'm paying now, and then have less company, not be able to play my board games because my mother's not going to be there. Right now, there really is no benefit for me. She says I'm supposed to be doing all the work, but isn't that what you signed up for? You can't expect something to work for you.
There's text on the screen. It says, unless you really signed up to create this YouTube video, which you have been recording day 1, but I'm sure that's just coincidence. Laughing face emoji. You got me.
If you don't do it. I think for context, she replied, I think she did like 2 of the challenges, or commented on like 2 of the threads and left the rest. And then plus like 1 video that she linked. Most of the days she wasn't in there, she wasn't listening to the voice notes. And she says that, she's honest about that in her video. It was basically like, is this all I'm getting? But how can you say that when you're not using all you're getting?
What happened to my weekly videos, Shoshi? Where are my weekly videos? Where are my weekly videos for my weekly focus? Where was that? You were inconsistent. The fuck?
This bit was quite shocking to me. I was surprised that she actually said this in her own words, and she said, I'm doing this for content.
What's shocking about that? You know that I'm a content creator. I messaged you from my public profile with 160 at the time, 1,000 followers, which is a fraction of what she has. But you know that I'm a content creator. I told you my full-time job is content creation. Why would I not make this into content? I don't get it. And I'm going to be really real with you guys. That singular video that I made about this situation is going to get me my 4,000 watch hours. I'm going to actually be able to finally monetize my YouTube. So like, thank you, Shoshi. You have actually changed my life. Maybe we got exactly what we wanted, just not in the way that we expected. Now my YouTube is monetized. Well, it will be monetized within the next month. So I'll start getting paid for the content that I create on here, which gives me more incentive to create. I'm a content creator. Why are you surprised? Also, if you're providing a product, whatever it may be, people are entitled to review it and talk about what they received. End of story.
Or that she was doing this with the intention of making content out of it. I mean, you can see it because she's documenting it the whole way, so we already know, but she doesn't hide it. And she also says, and I quote, I feel like an undercover agent. Obviously, the genuine intention of this wasn't there. This was not someone who went into it because they thought, you know what, this is what I need for my life right now. This is someone who, in their own words, did it for content. So she says, here I am doing the work, but she wasn't doing the work. She says 7 messages from Shoshi this morning, but she says she's getting nothing.
7 messages from Shoshi this morning, probably all 6-second little clips. Matter of fact, I think I'm still in the Voxer. There are 9 messages on the last day. The first one is 13 seconds. The second one is 27. The next is 8. The next is 14. The next is 6. The next is 8. The next is 14. The next is 24. The last is 4 seconds. Here's the last message.
I really want you to be able to see them easily, and today that's all you have to do.
Could you not have just sent a singular message? I'm telling you that I'm not receiving anything of value. Yeah, I received so many voice notes. Were they valuable?
She said it was pretty basic stuff.
Correct.
But she asked for routine. She said that she wanted to work on her routines. That was what she said that she wanted. In one of my voice notes, because
I don't want it to be generic, so I gave her generic, non-tailored information about what she wanted to learn about. Okay.
Placed it on the YouTube video. I actually said, you have the smallest actionable task today, because I could see that she wasn't doing the tasks. She mentioned that I was supposed to be posting a video every week. Very specific reason why I didn't is because the video was supposed to be about what we were going to be doing that week. And we hadn't finished what we were doing that week because she hadn't gotten involved in almost any of it. We'd done like maybe 1 or 2 days out of 7. The content what she had said she wanted to work on, to me that was rolling on over the next week because she hadn't done it.
That's not how that works. That's not how a program works, which is what you were selling. That's what you were selling, Shoshi. It explicitly says that on your website. Online program, not online membership. Not online, you must interact or I will not give you anything else. What are we talking about? The absolute inability that Shoshi has to take any accountability is insane.
She specifically says, and I quote, "I don't care, I just don't care, I'm over it." It's constant contradiction. It's constant, I'm not getting anything, I'm getting too much. It's, look,
I'm not getting anything of value. I'm receiving a bunch of bullshit and it's annoying me.
She's not bothered to post while also not doing the work. The thumbnail of her video, I think, is very telling. She says, her thumbnail is, "I got scammed."
With a question mark at the end. I got scammed? It's to create intrigue because this is a business at the end of the day. I want people to click on my video. Whatever she says, literally, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
In the video, she actually says, "Did I try hard enough to get scammed?" No. She is very clear that she didn't try. Again, did I try hard enough to get scammed? Did I try hard enough? No. Let's say you do a manifestation course and you watch it, but then you don't use that manifestation technique. You don't use it throughout the day. Watching it isn't going to be a magic pill. Nothing is going to change in your life. You can't pay for something and expect a magical transformation if you don't actually do it.
I wasn't looking for a magical transformation and you were not offering one either. You were never going to give anyone a magical transformation, Shoshi. It's hubris. Is it not?
Do anything. It is important at this point to mention that I have refunded her the €97. She will probably not have received that yet. All I know is that I pressed the refund button and I will try to keep an eye on it. I don't know when she will actually receive it. I also cancelled her subscription. She says in the video, "Oh, I better not have this money taken out again." It's what she signed up for. She signed up for €97 a month, but I cancelled it because she hadn't done so. And I have now removed her from the Voxer group and from the Podi community. So we are now back at empty. I have blocked her. Actually didn't block her after the first video. It was in the second video when she said that she was documenting this the whole way along, and I could see that
she put text on the screen. Finally, the lack of participation made sense because it was never the real reason for joining.
There was another intention there. That was when I made the decision to block. I honestly don't need someone who's here for the wrong reasons. I don't need someone who's going to use me to create content out of me. I know that people do it anyway, but that doesn't mean that I literally, But
you were using me to create content for your program membership course, whatever you want to call it.
I want to hand them the phone to do it. P.S. I've just realised that the 68 videos I have for Elevated must only have been part of it, because at first when I posted, I was posting directly into the community, and it was only after that I started linking them to YouTube.
To end the video, I'm gonna say, Shoshi, I am disappointed but not surprised at your reaction, unfortunately. You can't take accountability. I don't know, I guess that's it. Editing Morgan here. I just wanted to say I think it would be extremely interesting if someone else went in and took the course and see if she makes any improvements. And I will give someone the money who is willing to actually take the course, do all of the work, and see how she manages throughout the weeks and what kind of tasks she gives you to do, because obviously I can't go undercover because I don't have another closet that I can show her. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that I just can't get away with. I can't go undercover again. It just wouldn't work. If somebody wants to go do that, please do that. Please report back to us, because you may have like a 1 million view video on your hands, because this situation is kind of crazy. So I'd be really interested to see if she makes any improvements after this, but I just don't think that she is able to take the proper accountability in order to become better. We could check out the comments. Maybe that could be interesting. The top comment is this: I think this situation has done an excellent job at highlighting what people have been saying. Nobody knows what you're selling. Not even the one person who signed up and paid. The second top comment: if you get a gym membership, the gym runs classes. You choose which classes you go to and which you don't. The classes still happen whether you engage or not. The membership narrative makes no difference. Leslie, you ate with that! Another comment says, does the fact that you've made 2 of these courses, which seem to only have 1 member for each, not indicate that it's not working? Things to think about, Shoshi. And the last one that I'll read: if I pay €100 for a course, I don't think it would be my job to keep the course moving, especially if there is basically no info on what is actually about. What I'll end on again is, Shoshi, what even was this? I still don't know what you were trying to do. Is it fashion specific? Because we did talk about wardrobe. Is it manifestation? Is it spirituality? Is it like, what is it? She said in a video a few months ago that she was trying to do too many things all at once. So she's creating a new course that will be really specific and focused. But still, no one knows what you're selling and you haven't talked about it. So we are still confused. That's going to be the end of this video. If anything else happens, I don't think I'll talk about it because this is such a nothing burger. It's fucking crazy. Like, I've made 2 over half an hour long videos that are just nothing. We still don't know what's going on. Like, I hope everyone's doing well. I will be making more YouTube videos coming up because I'm getting paid now. What a blessing that is. If y'all want me to review anything else, I would love to. The thing about it is, I'm not picking on Shoshi. If this was Tana Mojo, I would have done the same thing. Literally. If Tana Mojo was offering a $100 a month membership course program, whatever you want to call it, I would sign up to see what she was doing. In the same way that like Swell Entertainment goes to these events to review events, I mean, that is literally what I've just done here. The people wanted to know what this was, and the people can't afford it because it's an exorbitant amount of money, and the typical person who is working a 9-to-5, who is just scraping by to pay their fucking bills every month, can't afford this. I don't know who you think can afford this, but your audience, the people who are actually following you, cannot afford this. And that's the end of it. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you so much for changing my life. Shoshi, in a way, thank you for also changing my life because now I can do YouTube full-time like how I've always wanted. So thank you so much. I hope that I didn't come off as too mean in this video. I feel very frustrated about how everything has gone down, but it is what it is. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.